Hello, world. I am online, and it's Saturday evening, almost midnight. That means for me the party's just getting started. Getting smoky in here. Don't take off all your clothes. So, guys, we are gonna be discussing about Jupiter, Mercury, Saturn retrograde that is happening in 2018. Wait, what year am I in? Oh yeah, this is 2018. So I just first of all, I always smoke cigars at night now. And I'm actually going to tell you guys today why I'm doing this. The reason why I'm doing this because I'm actually writing a book on Rahu. I am finishing or trying to finish my book on Rahu called The Black Legend: Rise of Rahu. It's kind of like a mythical slash factual stories, kind of like Lord of the Ring-ish type, you know, theme. That old school, old otherworld type characters, and of course there's a war. So, and I'm like, in order for me to really get this book, written down well, I've got to activate Rahu. So this is why, and it all came in on time. My wife introduced me to cigars. You know, hey, her dad smoked cigars. Okay, so who am I to say no to that? Okay, so introduced me to cigars at the right moment when I'm like, and once I started smoking that, I'm like, I gotta write my book. So I'm just like writing it. This is why I'm not even making my videos as much as you can see. Because once I'm into something, I am so deep into it that I'm up till like 3 a.m. trying to write it down. Okay, so this is what Rahu is now saying, and this is what this character is now saying, and then this Devta is coming. It starts rolling in my all right. So shut up. Let me smoke and write my book. So now, ladies and gentlemen, as you know, Jupiter. First of all, Mercury has gone retrograde on March 22nd, all the way till April 15th, in the sign of Pisces. Jupiter has gone retrograde from March 8th to July 10th in the sign of Libra. Saturn is going to be going retrograde next month on April 17th to September 6th of 2018 in the sign of Sagittarius. And Jupiter, you know, one thing you have to understand about Jupiter, where's my screen here? I think I lost you guys. Did I? Oh, what did I do here? Can you guys see me? Whoa. Do you guys still see me? Oh, shit. Okay, you guys see me. All right. So, out of all the planets that go retrograde, okay, Jupiter is the one that affects you very, very strongly. And especially people who have planets retrograde in their own horoscope, Jupiter affects them even more. See, you got to look at it this way. Jupiter is known as Zeus, the god of thunder and lightning. Jupiter is known as a benefic planet in Jyotish. It's a planet of expansion. But if you look at physical qualities of Jupiter, and if I showed you the physical qualities of Mercury, the Mercury retrograde that everybody just like goes nuts over, if I was to leave you. Okay, so let's look at this scientifically. How can I do this? Let's say this is my lighter. Okay, so yeah, I can't really show it here. Just imagine here's the sun. This is the other side of Mercury. This is Mercury. Okay, so there's this induction point area in Mercury, on Mercury's land, where I think it's like a mile or 2 mile stretch where the darkness is and the heat of the sun is, where you may actually survive for about a while. Like temperatures go below like 600 degrees, but right at the edge, it might be like 180 degrees below or 160 degrees below, which you still can survive. But if I was to land you on Jupiter, you won't even survive 2 miles down the atmosphere. Forget even the actual Jupiter. Okay, and I do believe that Jupiter has a land. Jupiter has land underneath. As much as science says otherwise, hey, but what do they know? Okay, they lag behind themselves. So when Jupiter goes retrograde, it will definitely bring in things in a more expanded way. Like its expansion that you're witnessing, accelerating, but especially when it's retrograde, it becomes heavy on individual. Retrograde planets become heavy on individuals. And one thing I saw today, I actually had to email Dr. Pi, Sandeep, the entire Pi team. I was doing a reading today, and I'm not lying to you guys at all, because I don't do these kind of dramatic things at all anymore. It's been like 3-4 years now. I saw, I was reading a chart. Ketu, Mars was in the fifth house in Scorpio, and Jupiter was in the sixth house. And Mercury was the Amatyakarka. Within the middle of the reading, and I'm not even joking to you guys, within the middle of the reading, I must have taken my eyes off like that and came back. And suddenly I saw Mars was in the sixth house in Sagittarius, and instead of Mercury, Saturn had become the Amatyakarka. And I'm like, okay, it's daytime, I'm not drinking. Okay, fully aware, sun is slithering through my office, and I was just like baffled. I was baffled. I was literally kind of freaked out. I'm like, what is this? Why is it that I actually saw it. I wasn't even I wasn't even hallucinating. I saw Mars switch its position in less than a nanosecond. Like for a nanosecond, something was erased in my mind as to how it changed its position, and it did. And and obviously Mercury's retrograde right now, Jupiter's retrograde right now, but it's like it's really showing that things are out there in a way where you cannot understand them. Why did the planet switch on me like this? It literally physically switched the position on my software. I don't know what that is. If somebody else has ever dealt with it or knows something about it, please do comment on it, because I'm still baffled. But Jupiter, wherever it's retrograding, especially in Libra, and Jupiter is in the nakshatra of Vishaka, meaning Indra is going to go back and take his throne. This is the period where Indra wants to take its throne. Indra is going back and trying to clear up the mess that was created in Indra's kingdom. And this is where all the duties of Indra become far more important. So let's say if you have planets, that Jupiter might be going over in Vishaka, it's like a king has to go back, clear up the mess, and reclaim its throne. But Vishaka is about lightning strike, where Jupiter can be seriously become mad, angry, to strike the lightning down to make sure nobody's messing with the kingdom. So wherever Jupiter is no longer going to be diplomatic about solving diplomatic issues. Jupiter is going to be like, I'm done with solving diplomatic issues. I gave you enough time across the boardroom table to convince me of something. It's not happening. It just lightning strikes and it burns. It burns the other person, other things, other situations to the crispy critter. Whether it's you lashing out at your boss, whether it's you lashing out at your enemies, whomever. But Indra now wants to deal with things with no negotiations. Just, you're not listening to me? Done. You're not listening to me? Done. But Jupiter is always expanding that energy. Now, one thing we see here in retrograde with Jupiter, if Jupiter's transiting in Kendra known as the pillars of Vedic astrology, and pillars are known as regal royal positions. I don't know if I've ever discussed this actually. The first house, fourth house, seventh house, 10th house are known as the royal positions, the royal achievements. Other achievements are mundane achievements. First, fourth, and seventh, and 10th house achievements are regal royal achievements. And I actually made a detailed video on Jupiter retrograde in my second channel, Astrology KRS, on YouTube. So if you haven't subscribed to that, go to that channel and subscribe so you won't miss these transit videos. But I wanted to make this video here because it's quite important. And with Jupiter, okay, Jupiter, as much as it's a benefic planet, on physical qualities of Jupiter is nothing but storms, lightning, winds at a speed where it'll just rip you apart. And this is why Guru is a Jupiter. Why? Because Guru can strike down upon you. A Guru has the right from Shiva to slap the shit out of you. Guru has the right to kick you, to beat you, to hit you, to make sure that you know the right path in life. If a Guru has to come down to it, it's definitely there. But guess what they say about Guru hitting you and kicking you? If a Guru hits you really hard to the point where you're boiling with anger, he just took away 1,000 years of bad karma in your life. So now what Guru is doing, if it's striking down in your life with such a thunderbolt that you can't take it, like what in the world is this? I've never experienced this. Guru is trying to make you clear up the mess which will help you in your next 1,000 lives. Guru is helping you clean certain karmas that will help you dissolve some past life karmas. That's retrograde Jupiter. Don't take Jupiter lightly. Oh, Jupiter is coming, going, retrograde, whatever. Oh, talk to me about Rahu and Ketu. That's what I want to know. I want to know about Rahu and Ketu. What are they doing in my life? And those are actually the least amount of things you should be worried about. Saturn's going retrograde. What's going to happen there? Jupiter is the planet that can actually cause more havoc than any other planet in the Jyotish system. Because when Jupiter strikes down upon you, he will not keep the brother's keeper. He will just burn you to a crispy critter and just leave you for hanging in the middle of a jungle. because there's a lesson to be taught. Lesson to be taught to improve your next 1,000 lives and to kill the bad effect of the past 1,000 lives. Now, what is happening is Jupiter and Mercury are both retrograde. One is a guru, one is a shishya. One is a guru, one is a teacher. There's a big difference between guru and a teacher. Like me, people claim me on comments, oh, you're my guru, you're my guru. I'm not your guru. Because I cannot lead you to enlightenment. I cannot slap your karmas out of the way. The only thing that will happen, you'll just have a sore cheek. Because I do have a pretty nice slap. That's all that's going to happen. I'm more of a Mercurian person who may, you never know, may transfer into a guru. Who knows what happens, in life, how life takes you. But Mercury right now is in Pisces. And it's in Uttarabhadrapada, will go back, or it's in Revati, will go back to Uttarabhadrapada, come back. But Mercury, as you know, it represents communication. All kinds of communication, diplomacy, managing, writing. Mercury is actually much more calm and peace in Pisces versus other sign. When Mercury is retrograde in a fire sign, like Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. When Mercury is in retrograde in an air sign, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, it can burn with communication and it can spread the fire with its communication. So miscommunication happens far more with air and fire element of Mercury. It's a heated Mercury. It becomes a heated planet. Like Mercury becomes like those people who have like a sailor's mouth, people who have a very strong opinion on things. Those are people with fire Mercury. Whether they're right or wrong, they won't care. Their opinion is the opinion. When Mercury is in Pisces and retrograding, all it does, it internally procrastinates. Should I be doing this? Should I not be doing this? Should I say that to the person? Should I not say that to that? Mercury loses itself in a way where it actually understands what higher philosophy is. Mercury in Pisces is brilliant for philosophy, bad for management. Because Mercury Mercury is never debilitated, never exalted. Even though Virgo and Pisces are debilitated and exalted sign, Mercury is a curious planet. Mercury is always curious. You can put him in Pisces, he'll be curious about the Piscean things. You put Mercury in Scorpio, he'll be curious about Scorpion things. You put Mercury in Virgo, it'll be very curious about Virgo related things. It never thinks I'm good or I'm bad. I'm high, am I low? It's always manipulating. Remember, the thing about Mercury is known with a clap. When you clap, it's Mercury. Why? Because whomever Mercury sits with in your horoscope, it starts clapping with that person. So regardless of which house Mercury rules, when it's in a conjunction, that's a very, very important thing with Mercury. When it's in a conjunction, you can see the operation of Mercury. If it's with a best friend like Saturn, Venus, it'll operate brilliantly. If it's sitting with cruel planets like, Mars and Ketu, it's sitting with Rahu, becoming manipulative, very clever and manipulative. Sitting with Jupiter, irritated. Jupiter and Mercury, you know what it does? It irritates a person because they can't find the solution to what they're researching on. These are the people who go very deep into understanding what the hell life is. Wow, no, I don't think this is right, this is right, this is wrong, this is right. It's like they keep fighting with each other. They're fighting with their own self. So Mercury, when it's retrograde, this is actually a best time to meditate. Because the contemplation within the self has to be resolved more than any communication outside. So these are the two planets of knowledge philosophy, religion, you know, education, because Mercury is a kark of education. Right now, there may not be so much interest in learning, for especially for students who have Mercury, especially in Trikon, like first, fifth, or ninth house. First, fifth, or ninth house are all about education. Education so you can improve your karma. First house is you. You're born to serve your karma. Fifth house can become your future or past karma depending upon the sign. Ninth house becomes the karma of your dharma. So here a student might be not taking part in, like right now, the memorizing something analytical, a code. Let's say you have a test in IT. I don't know if that's what you call it, but let's say you're taking programming language. You won't be able to retain information when you try to learn them. The best thing to do when Mercury is retrograde, okay? Think your way into learning. Make your learning a poetry. So if, let's say, you want to learn a code, programming code, and you've got a test next week, you keep reading the code and you're like, okay, I'll be able to do it. Then you wait to an hour or so, you try to redo the code, and you're like, oh my God, what was that I was doing? What was that I was learning? What's going on? Oh, I want to do so bad in test. When you go back and try to learn again, try to learn that code in a song. When you try to learn that code in a song, Mercury will clearly get it. So depending upon the sign that Mercury is in retrograding, you need to adapt yourself to that sign and go in flow with that sign. So right now we're talking about Pisces. So you need to sing your way internally to end your contemplation, procrastination, because Mercury becomes a procrastinator. Then at the same time, Saturn is going to be going to retrograde. So both Jupiter and Saturn will be retrograde. And they're going to be pointing to, certain houses together. And especially, they're going to be looking into houses like Aquarius. So Aquarius sign and the sign of Gemini will be aspected by two retrograde planets. So when Saturn goes retrograde, now right now what you see with Saturn, and this is something that because I'm in basketball and I keep up with basketball, ever since Saturn has entered Purva Ashada Nakshatra, there are so many fights that are happening in the NBA. Every other day now, people or players are fighting each other, pushing each other, shoving each other, getting into a little mix. Because Saturn is now provoking that karma related to defending yourself. See, it's not really about the fight. Why does fight occurs? Fight occurs with a certain situation where one tries to protect themselves and one tries to defend themselves, one tries to provoke some situation. So two people may not fight equally. One may try to defend. Okay? So Saturn is, manipulating this whole warmongering. And I specifically said when Jupiter is retrograde on my other YouTube channel is you should not insult anybody publicly because you're insulting a guru. And when you do that, remember Jupiter is right now so alert about every single being on this planet. It'll strike down upon you with the lightning. When Saturn goes retrograde, it'll be paying attention to your karma. So what you do right now when Jupiter is retrograde, Saturn, when it goes retrograde, it'll give you that result of what you are doing. And especially when Saturn goes retrograde, it is going to resolve all the conflicts it has created since it started in Purvashada. But Saturn becomes very, very strong. So this is where Saturn, being a natural malefic planet, the one thing that we have to be aware of is the ascendant. What houses does Saturn rules? Where is it placed in your current transit horoscope? Is it in Kendra? Is it in Dushtana? Is it in Kama? Is it in Artha? Which houses it's in? It's in. Sometimes two houses become one. One becomes, Kendra and Trikon. One becomes Upachya and Artha. And if you don't know this, don't worry about it. I've already made enough videos on this, and you can read that in my book. But they're going to be aspecting the sign of Aquarius, okay, together, as well as the sign of Gemini. So both are going to be looking at this air houses, one of communication, one of recognition and collective consciousness, collective work, societies, okay? And especially when Jupiter went retrograde, we just had a march today on guns. We just had a march. So a mass group of people are coming together. And I said that in my video actually, Jupiter video, I said that, or the one that I made before that, there'll be a lot of protests happening. When Jupiter goes in there, you're going to see the results of the protest. So there are protests happening by a large group, or a large group is trying to make a decision. That decision will be happening when Saturn goes retrograde, because now it's trying to fix what is now started with Jupiter. That's how you want to look at it. Why is Jupiter retrograde? Okay, this is why Jupiter is retrograde. Why is Saturn retrograde? Saturn retrograde because of this. And now they're both retrograde. One will try doing something with the other. So one shows the problem, the other either dissolves it, destroys it, or solves the problem. So, and especially with Saturn, when Saturn goes retrograde, okay? If you ever come across a beggar, a handicapped person, or person of a, a lower society, in a way you can say, in India, you can use the caste system, right? Lower caste. If they come for you for help, do not reject them because of your prejudice. Do not reject them because of your ignorance. So you see a handicapped man, okay? Let's say you're a Brahman. You see an untouchable man trying to cross the street and he's on a cane. Help that person. Because when Jupiter is retrograde, it watches your karma far closer than any other time. See, they say when there's this one position, when Jupiter is either Gandhanta, it kind of like does not record anything. There's this one position I completely forgot. But if you run into a situation, that means, first of all, Saturn is giving you a chance. Saturn is giving you a chance to correct something from your past life. Because the man or woman who are handicapped or poor, they might be handicapped or poor in this life because of you or your involvement in it. If you help them, it'll clear out some of your biggest debts. And you can purposely go and help such people. Go look for those people and help them. Saturn retrograde will be probably the very most blessing point in your life. So, and in the reason why I'm saying retrograde, because it is awakened, it is aware, it is much more closer to the earth. It's managing earth right now. Or in April, when it goes retrograde, it'll really start managing earth. Because when a planet is retrograde, it's much closer to the earth from our collective perspective. And because Jupiter and Saturn retrograde, looking at the air signs, Gemini and Aquarius, of communication and mass communication, do not show your stupidity, especially on social media. Do not show your stupidity out on some speech. Do not try to insult someone because that is being recorded very, very strongly. What you say, even if it's your worst enemy that you may try to, insult, it can really create a cluster mess by you speaking out. Now, there are other things that I follow in my personal life when the planets are retrograde. There are other things that I don't do, but if I was to tell them here, oh, you guys will be like, oh, why are you doing that? That is not right. Oh, you're bad, or you're this, or you're that, or you're not a sattvic person. That's why I won't say that. But there are certain things that I just don't do, and that's just my own personal beliefs. It's just something I've heard from astrologers and scholars, and since you know I know some of these things that I put into practice and they actually show. I kind of avoid doing certain things or not do certain actions, which you may think are very wrong for me to not do. But that's for like more of a private discussion. Um, so we have these three planets right now currently that are going to go be retrograde or retrograding right now. And out of all of this, Jupiter is the main one because Saturn has gone retrograde before. Okay. Um, oh, my house alarm's going on. Do I need to get a gun? And I mean, I actually know who's downstairs. Is my wife's friend who's downstairs. I think he probably opened up the thing and didn't realize that he has to put in the code. So I'll be back. I'll be back. All right. No need to worry. Everything is fine. Not getting robbed. Not getting robbed. So, where was I? I'm losing my train of thought. Okay, so Saturn and Jupiter. So yeah, just watch your communication. You know, uh, but remember, for certain people, this may be the blessing time. This may be a very, very blissful time to correct things, to get things. Um, you know, I mean, I can be a witness to that. Uh, Certain things happen, and then certain thing, I did something again, and boom, click. And guess what happened? Jupiter represents publishing, right? Jupiter represents publishing. Jupiter represents books and writing, according to Gemini. When it went retrograde, that's when I'm like, okay, I need to go back and finish this Rahu book. So it's so funny. Like as soon as Jupiter started retrograding, I'm like, all right, I need to get that book finished that I promised. So I'm like, you know, writing. It started actually a couple of days before it, so you can just see the effect of me going back, with something that I was working on with publishing and trying to now finish which I left off unfinished. So Jupiter gave me this. It's like a lightning struck in my head because I'm like, oh man, I can add this character, I can add that, and I can bring this thing together with this Rahu book. And so now I'm just like reeling in all the things through my fingers into your craniums. So that's the magic of retrograde. And also just in the retrograde, Okay. I was doing live blind chart readings on my Facebook page, on my main Facebook page, and it's still up there. And it's amazing. Like, I'm seeing things much more clearly with Jupiter retrograde, actually. Even though planets are switching or whatever is happening, maybe they're trying to connect with me saying that, hey, we're here, we're watching you, you're watching us. You don't need to pay attention to us more. I don't know what that is, but yeah, I was just, for some reason, when Jupiter went retrograde, I'm like, let me just do a live. Oh, yeah, I know why I did it. Because I hit like 60 million views on YouTube. So I'm just like, well, I hit 60 million views. I did it through you guys. Without you guys, I wouldn't be here. So I'm like, let me just give something back. So I think for 30 minutes or 40 minutes, I was just taking random charts of people. They're putting in the information, and I'm just like throwing out whatever I can see, whatever I can tell them and help them out with that. So, but of course, you can help everybody, because then I had like literally thousands, and I had like literally 3,000 comments in like 2-3 hours. So there's no way I can help everybody. So yeah, I mean, Jupiter kind of uh, made me realize the guru in me, the teacher in me, that, oh, hey, go help people in there. Go help people. Who need your help. I don't know what it is, but yeah, a lot of good activities are happening. At least, for um, my retrogression. So anyway, guys, um, this was my mini version of the retrograde. I may go into details of this on my other channel, Astrology KRS, where I will actually discuss. I may actually discuss each ascendant from the ascendant and the moon as well. And oh, the one of the most important things that I actually talked about with Jupiter retrograde on my other channel is look at the position of Jupiter from the moon. Why? Because Jupiter is intelligence. And what do we use the signature for intelligence? Oh, you're intelligent, right? Look what I just did with my finger. And I used the Jupiter finger too, index. Oh, you're intelligent, you're smart. And then what do we also say with this finger? Pay attention with your mind. Use your mind. So you gotta see the position of Jupiter from the moon to see how this retrograde of Jupiter is gonna affect your intelligence and mind. Are you gonna make stupid decisions, bad decisions? And I go into details on my other channel, so I don't want to repeat that same thing here, because it took me literally 20 minutes to explain that whole thing. Okay. So anyway, I'm going to make the astrophilosophy hour video tonight. It's midnight, so I'm probably gonna go downstairs in half an hour, get another cigar lit, and then we'll make the astrophilosophy video, which I can probably upload then tomorrow morning or afternoon. I will also have Vedic astrologer, a new Vedic astrologer coming on Tuesday for an interview. Um, he's a great Vedic astrologer. So you guys will see him on Tuesday. Oh, otherwise, we'll continue on our series. And if you're new to my channel, subscribe below. If you need books, reports, consultations, go to astrologycares.com. Otherwise, I'm just gonna try to finish this up and finish my 4th chapter of the Rahu book. All right, see you later.